back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Nelly Swandlovu. So today I'm gonna be talking about my birth vlog. I'm gonna be talking about my birth. So I gave birth on the 3rd of December last year, 2020, and I gave birth in Pretoria at Tshwane District Hospital. It's a public hospital here in Pretoria. Are you gonna mess up my set? I started feeling contractions around 3 o'clock on the 2nd of December. So I was at Checkers doing like a bit of grocery shopping, picking up some fruits and stuff, and I started feeling like a dull pain, kind of like period cramps. Yeah, it is like period cramps, like when they're first making an appearance and like introducing themselves, that dull sort of pain in J that would like come and then like it goes, then it comes, then it goes, and I was like, oh, I think this might be it. So bear in mind my due date, I had 2 due dates. My due date calculated based on time of conception was the 7th of December, and then after my 20-week ultrasound scan, my due date was then moved to 27th of November. So I was past my due date. And when you're past your due date, you have to go to the high-risk clinic just so that they can check that everything is fine. And when I went to the high-risk clinic, my due date was on a Sunday. And so when I went on a Monday, the doctor checked everything. He was like, no, the baby's fine. Also, like, why? When he looked at the dates, he's like, why are they saying your due date is on the 27th? Why are they saying your due date is on the 27th? Because according to your time of conception, or not time of conception, the last day of your the first day of your last period, I think that's it. Your due date isn't until the 7th of December. So I was like, I don't know, the baby was probably measuring big. I was also carrying very like large. So after the ultrasound, the lady, it seemed as if she was doubting that I knew my dates, but she had just said I'm 20 weeks when I thought I was 19 weeks. So that's what happened with the due date thing. So after I went to the high-risk clinic, I was already expecting like some sort of movement. I was expecting movement from 36 weeks. Me and my boyfriend were already like, the baby's coming. So now it's about 40 weeks and a few days, and I start to feel these contractions. And meanwhile, I was getting Braxton Hicks. I'm sorry if this is all over, but I've been getting Braxton Hicks throughout, but more now in the last 2 weeks. So from 38 weeks, I was getting like Braxton Hicks. And Braxton Hicks, when you don't know what labor feels like, you think like, oh, something's happening, but it's actually, it doesn't feel the same like at all. Braxton Hicks is like when your tummy gets tight or stiff and then it like releases. It's like fake contractions or practice contractions or whatever. And I start feeling like these period like cramps, which start getting worse because by the time I was paying, I was kind of like bending a little bit, like this is not nice, I need to get home like immediately. So then I text my boyfriend like, I think something's happening. And around about 4 o'clock I went to the bathroom and I had my show. So your bloody show is kind of like a mucousy blood. Your mucus plug, that's what it's called, your mucus plug that comes out. It's just, it can happen before labor, like days before labor, or during labor, like when you go into labor, like I forgot all these terms, but that's basically like, it's a sign that, oh, labor is coming. So I get home, I see my show. When I go to the toilet, I text my boyfriend like, yo, the baby is coming today. Like, I'm so excited at this point. I can't wait. I had a contraction tracker on my phone, and I would, it's like a timer. So you press start and stop when your contraction comes and then when it subsides. So I was busy doing that, tracking my contractions, walking up and down. Throughout this like whole week, I was walking, trying to do some exercise, trying to get the process moving, eating pineapples, like doing all sorts of like random stuff, stretches. I watched these stretches on YouTube that you should do. I was just being impatient because my actual due date was the 7th of December, but in my mind, because they told me 27th, I was like, where's my baby? so that happens, and then he comes home because he had gone to work. He's just like, oh, I can't sit around and like wait for this child. So he comes back from work, and so we go on with the evening, like mix up, unpack. My hospital bag was packed, but now I'm just like adding my extra things like plugs, face cloth, that type of thing, toothbrush. I'm like packing, getting ready to go, my slippers. So hi baby. I pack my hospital bag, he makes supper, he packs me a lunchbox. At this time now, at around 6, things are getting a little uncomfortable, or things are getting very uncomfortable, because yeah, the contractions are feeling like a very like bad period, and it comes and it goes. I'm trying to breathe, you know. And the thing is, when you don't know what labor feels like you have no reference. So my app was telling me that your contractions are so my app was telling me your contractions are like pretty close together. They're lasting long enough. You should start like going to the hospital. So I'm like, oh my gosh, my baby's coming tonight. And we called my mom, and I remember laughing after my contraction, and she's like, oh no, like you're not even close. Usahleka, you're not even close. And I just thought she was being a hater, honestly. I was like, whoa, what do you mean I'm not close? Ma'am, my baby's coming today. I was mistaken, and she was absolutely right, because it was a while. And so I packed my lunchbox at around 9. It's pretty painful, and I'm not a person who has very painful periods, so to me it was just like, this baby's coming. I'm probably like 6 centimeters dilated. So I'm thinking, okay, my mom is a hater, this child is coming like yesterday. Okay, so we pack up, we go to the hospital. Keep in mind, it was still heavy lockdown. I can't remember what level we were at, but there was a curfew, I think at like 10 or something like that. I'm not sure, I can't remember very well, but there was a curfew, so we were worried like about being able to move to the hospital and home, like in between hospital and home, quickly enough. So we decided, let's just be sure and go to hospital. They'll check and see if I can stay or I should come back home, because I didn't want to get sent back home is also the thing. Like I didn't want to go too early, because I've been watching vlogs. We go to the hospital, he's not allowed inside, which was just devastating for me because I had wanted him there for the labor and delivery. So he can only accompany me, because I was carrying a large bag with mine and baby's things. And so he could only accompany me to the entrance of the ward, and then he had to go. And so I check in, it's pretty empty, like there's no one waiting out there. I can hear a mother in pain yelling, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I hope that's not me. I said dramatic, Ganti. I didn't even know what was coming. And so they check me out. They do this thing where they shove their fingers up your hoo-ha, and they are checking your cervix dilation, which took me aback the first time I did it. I'd gone to check on the baby because I didn't feel her moving, and I screamed. They check me, and I'm like 0 centimeters dilated, baby. 0. I'm not dilated. No, I wasn't 0. Wait. I was about 1 centimeter. I'm like barely 1 centimeter. Almost no centimeters dilated. Devastated. Devastated. But because my contractions were consistent and like close together, they let me stay. And so they were monitoring me. They put these belts around you to check your contractions and the baby's heart rate. And so after that, they assigned me to my bed, which was nice. The ward was nice. The ward was nice. I think it's been renovated recently, so it looks like a private hospital. So they sent me to my room, which was, it's like an open, like a ward. I don't know if you've been to a hospital, but it's got curtains, so it's not like individual rooms. They sent me to my bed rather. So there was about like 2 other people there, which was surprising because I expected more people. Keep in mind that the hospital was closed for COVID only, so they had just opened up. So I'm not sure if people didn't know that the hospital was open again or what. They leave me there. I put my stuff down. Someone comes to give me tea and bread. I think they had already served supper or something like that, but there's like tea and bread. I settled down. I'm like texting my boyfriend. The contractions are coming. I mean, they're getting worse, but you know, I can handle it. It feels like a very, very bad period at this point. I don't really have much of an appetite, so this kaftini that my boyfriend had packed for me, like I didn't eat it at all. I just had some fruits, and in hindsight, I wish that I'd brought some snacks, like when I went shopping that day, I should have bought like chocolates, sweets, chips, things like that. So I'm a here, you know, just for an energy boost. So my contractions are happening. Morning comes. It's very bad at this point. I haven't slept. And the nurse comes in to check me. There's no movement. I'm still at about like 1 centimeter, which was devastating because, you know, I was expecting more movement, and it's painful. So all that like laboring, they come in and they check you every couple of minutes or however long, I can't remember, but and when you're wearing these belts, you have to lay on your side and stay still so that it can get an accurate reading of your contractions and the baby's heart rate or whatever. So they tell you to keep still. Yeah, so during this time I was trying to walk up and down the ward, you know, trying to snack, but I don't have an appetite, just doing breathing exercises. Nurse comes in. I'm disappointed, I'm discouraged, and she gives me this injection for the pain. So she said she was sedating me. So this is maybe at around like 4 a.m. where she came in and she gave me this injection. Then I slept for like 2 hours, because I remember I woke up at 6 and I texted my boyfriend just an update. So I remember sleeping 2 hours after that injection. It was somewhat relief because I got to sleep, but it wasn't like an epidural. Like, and when she said sedate, I was really like banking on more. But okay, I'm grateful that I got that because the pain. So at this point, I'm only about like 2 centimeters, and also around the morning, she decides to break my waters. And once she broke my waters, then there was progress, but it was also very painful contractions after that. I didn't feel her breaking my waters. She just put in these 2 rods. I felt like my my water breaking, but I didn't feel like any type of pain like when she broke my waters. She used these 2 long rods, and then they gave me an IV, a drip or whatever. They said it was for my fluids, just to give me strength and like hydration and stuff like that. So okay, cool. So these contractions are like getting serious now. Like now I'm in pain. Like now I'm trying to use, because they have these balls, you know, those exercise balls. So like, you know, I'm trying to like breathe and remember the YouTube videos that I like learned about breathing and all that stuff, and it's not working. It's not helping. So I'm busy just like, you know, praying and trying to like concentrate on these contractions, trying to relax, because I'd read that like you try to relax your body so that, you know, your contractions flow easier. So I'm like doing all this stuff and I don't know if it's working, and they serve breakfast and tea and I'm not eating any of it. Fast forward, the afternoon comes, people come and go. It's really like getting to me. And at some point in the evening, they check me. They check my cervix again, and then they decide to put a catheter in me, because they said something about there was swelling, and to relieve the pressure is what they said. So they inserted the catheter, and all this time they're telling you like stop, like don't push, but the contraction is literally like pushing for you. Fast forward, there wasn't more movement until the evening, where I was about like 6 centimeters dilated. At this point, I can't even cry, but I'm upset because I'm in so much pain. I'm trying to walk. At some point, I even like begged. At some point, I even begged for a C-section because I thought, you know, I'm dying, surely. And they're like, no, we can't give you a C-section because there's nothing wrong with you and the baby. So they're like, there's nothing wrong with the baby. We can't just give you a C-section. Like, it's just not allowed, and it's dangerous. At around like 10, It was something to 11. I'm at 10 centimeters dilated. And when you're 10 centimeters, you know, they didn't even tell me I was at 10, but I knew, like, this has to be 10. Like, the contractions at that point, they're not even so much painful. They feel like a seizure. What I would imagine a seizure is. Like, it takes over your whole body. So they, like, quickly come before the next contraction comes. So then you get there and you're, like, in your birthday suit, and they get you into position. It's all, like, set up or whatever. There were, like, 4 nurses there. The doctor popped in, like, at the end. And so I started pushing, but I was exhausted and I hadn't eaten in over 24 hours, except for 2 apples. So I was exhausted. And they even tell you, like, don't scream. Like, don't scream, you're gonna get tired. I was already tired, ma'am, so I can scream in my frustrations, and it's very hard not to scream. The nurse who's assisting me is like, you're not pushing. I'm like, how am I supposed to push? Only, like, in the final pushes, they're like, okay, yeah, like, you're pushing. The doctor comes in, and he's, like, pushing on my stomach, I guess, to try and, like, help me push the baby out. And eventually, they get a vacuum. They call it a kiwi. And while I'm pushing, they, like, sucked her out. And there she came. And I heard her cry. It was the most beautiful cry. I was relieved more than anything. I thought I was gonna cry, but I didn't. I didn't cry. I was just relieved. But she was fine. She was healthy. There's this score that they do that I can't remember what it's called, but there she came. I tore very badly, but I didn't feel it because, like I said, I was just focusing on, like, is my baby gonna be fine? So I really didn't feel much pain. The labor part of it is the best part. Praise God, she was healthy and she was happy, and we were both alive and we were fine. And yeah, I didn't feel the tearing. I definitely felt the stitches, though they do inject or, like, numb you. It's not worse than what you were feeling throughout that time. So they also did, so when they pulled her out, they did skin to skin contact. I think they were rubbing her, then she cried, and then they put her on me. So I was feeling her, like, all fresh and, like, warm, and I was just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was so happy. And then after that, they took her, they wiped her down, they weighed her, and then they put her on this bed next to me. And I took a picture and I sent it to her dad, and he was like, oh my gosh, she's here. And then my phone died, but it was fine. Like, we were so happy. So yeah, that was my labor. I'm sorry if this video was all over the place, but this is how it is. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe and share. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.